Welcome to the Fox 54 Weekend Review. I'm Kenesha Dees. It's the only place in North Alabama to get the week's local headlines condensed into one program. Here's a taste of what's ahead. Our top stories this week: Huntsville residents will see their first sewer rate increase in 20 years. We'll tell you why. Also, the Ice Sports Center is getting a big expansion, and what's next for the Huntsville Depot?
A sewer rate increase for Huntsville residents. A green light has been given to move forward with these rate hikes, and people will start seeing their sewer bills rise in September. The increase would be gradual over the next 9 years. Take a look at the numbers here. A $5 average increase would start to reflect on September 1st. From 2026 moving forward, another dollar will be added until 2034, when the average monthly sewer bill will be $39.15. This vote was initially put on hold during the last city council session. Council members wanted more time to look over approvals and explore other cheaper options, which were presented today.
That rate increase adjustment is very minimal due to the fact that we've spent many months putting together what we originally presented. And the administration had two goals. One, meet the needs of water pollution control. Number two, provide the minimalist rate increase to our customers as possible. So there wasn't a lot of wiggle room in what we originally presented. It was as low of what we could present.
City officials did not go with the revised option. This is the first sewer rate increase in Huntsville since 2005. City officials say people were paying a little more than $18 a month back then.
Arkin McCoy got an inside look at the problems fueling the proposal and explains why addressing the issue now could save money in the long run.
It's been years since Huntsville implemented a sewer service rate increase, but a price hike still stings. City leaders say the pain will be worse if something isn't done to address certain infrastructure needs soon.
One of the problems is we have an aging sewage system, especially in District 1.
That issue was on full display this morning as crews worked on aging piping along Glen Park Drive. Councilwoman Michelle Watkins tells Fox 54 she needed to meet with other city officials to better understand the problem.
So the hike is going to go over the course of 10 years. And it'll be at $15. It'll start off at $5, go $1 each year. After, he sat down, explained it to me, told me how bad our sewage system has gotten, it was important for me to have the people informed.
Huntsville is growing rapidly, and that growth is putting more pressure on the city's infrastructure. City leaders say addressing the issue quickly can prevent even more expensive damage in the future.
I don't want us to become Birmingham or Atlanta with the problems that they have. And then I don't want us to have to pay an enormous sewage rate because we didn't take care of it early on. We're the cheapest right now, and we need it because we got to take care of our infrastructure. And it's important for us to do it now than to have it collapse on us, and then your rate go up $75 or more dollars, and then you'll really be upset.
Continuing coverage from a story we first brought to you back at the end of January. The Huntsville Ice Sports Center is looking at a $44 million expansion project. The proposal would double the size of the current building in John Hunn Park, as you can see from these blueprints here, bringing a third full-size arena to the ISC and a fourth smaller sheet of ice lined with up to 5 lines currently used for curling. However, this project has seen some bumps along the road to approval. The expansion for Huntsville's Ice Sports Center has been on hold for about 2 months. The facility director saying, unfortunately, the bids came in much higher than expected. The current economic uncertainty was certainly a major factor. As a result, city leadership has the project on pause as they review and explore every option possible.
We're, like everybody, kind of experiencing the impacts of inflation and things like that.
A few small changes, but they were able to save what seems like a significant amount of money.
Where we are now on the agreement is in line with what it ought to be.
At Thursday night's city council meeting, a revised contract between the city and Arco Murray was introduced. The construction company's initial bid came in at roughly $49.5 million. Huntsville officials have worked with Arco Murray to cut out minor parts of the expansion and lower that number by roughly $5 million.
We're limited in how much that can be reduced after that initial bid, so you can't reduce it by more than 10%.
Now, with new numbers officially in place, it's an exciting time for the people who regularly use the facility, like the Rocket City Curling Club, who will look to get more time on the ice with a dedicated curling rink.
Right now, we only get a couple percent, literally 2 or 3% of the ice time because of hockey and figure skating. So curling has a very small footprint, and so having a facility dedicated to curling is going to be huge for us. It's going to be, instead of having 1 or 2 leagues a week, we're going to go up to probably 15 or 16 a week.
We've had in our plans for some time to expand it and try and meet that demand. The people that use it and that are down there, fighting for ice time are very excited about it, and so this will allow us to really expand the offerings for a lot of our youth hockey, our adult hockey, the figure skating, and also a real opportunity to bring more tourism into our community.
And on top of all that, I do want to read you a statement I just received a few minutes ago from the ISC Facility Director, Editha Dotson-Bowder. She reads in part, quote, "The Ice Sports Center has exceeded capacity, and this expansion will restore our ability to meet the needs for program growth, public recreation, skating opportunities, and major events for generations to come." City officials tell Fox 54 full completion of the expansion will be done by January 2027.
Fox 54 was the first to let you know that control of the historic Huntsville Depot was handed back to the city of Huntsville last October. And today, city leaders provided an update about what lies ahead for the historic site. Here's a listen.
It is a special place, and it is a protected place, and it deserves to be seen and deserves to be enjoyed by the public. It is a great spot and is a great asset that our community has. Now, it's time for us to start thinking about the future. We want to hear from the community about what you want to see on this site. What are your ideas?
I'd like to see it go back to becoming a museum and take a little bit more care about trying to restore some of the items that were in there, some of the items that can be added in there, and have it be accessible to everybody.
We know there are certain kind of sacred cows that aren't going anywhere, right? The depot is not going anywhere. The roundhouse, most likely not going anywhere. But while those buildings are important to preserve, we also need to know how do they enter the next stage of their life, right? As Early Works hands the ownership over to the city, one of the best ways to keep a building in shape is actually to make sure it's being used on a daily basis, that there are people who are there, that people are coming in and out of it, that people have eyes on it, that it is actually serving a purpose.
The city will host public input sessions at the depot next month to gather ideas for the site. Find the link to the online survey along with public session details on fox54.com. We've got a Fox 54 traffic impact alert for you. Redstone Arsenal's Gate 8 closes on weekdays starting Monday. You'll learn what you can expect for your commute. Some of you may soon find your access to Redstone Arsenal is somewhat limited. It's after personnel decided to close Gate 8 to traffic during the work week. That change prompted by widespread cuts and changes at the federal level of the government. The closure is going to affect Gate 8 at Goss Road. Arsenal leadership explains the gate stays open, but only on weekends and federal holidays. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo explains why they made the change.
Gate 8 here at Redstone Arsenal is going to be closing on the weekdays from here on out. That change going into effect on Monday. According to Arsenal leadership, it's to keep up with efficiency during a sharp decline in staffing levels. They say a recent federal reorganization cut security personnel by 15%. Because of that decrease in staffing, they decided to close the gate during its busiest hours and focus instead on the Arsenal's other 5 gates during the work week. Those gates, 1, 3, 7, 9, and 10. Protection Division Chief Brian Reinwald explained that he understands the frustration this might cause some commuters, but he said they're doing the best they can amid cuts in the federal workforce. He said, "We understand this change may cause some delays, and we appreciate everyone's patience. We encourage commuters to leave a little earlier for work." He added, "Our security personnel are dedicated to ensuring safe and efficient access to the installation, and they are doing their best to manage the situation with the resources we have available." And comments from people who work on Redstone sharing their thoughts and concerns. If it is a manpower issue, why not go back to closing Gate 10 and keep Gate 8 open? One commenter said, "Gate 8 serves the on-post residents and the off-post military families that use the Arsenal much better." Another commenter said they need additional gates or lanes added with the influx of people coming in and out. Their concern is getting to the places on the Arsenal where many people need quick and easy access. The good news is Gate 8 is just minutes away from Gate 10, just down Patton Road. Gate 8 will remain open on weekends and on federal holidays from 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. The other gates to the Arsenal will remain unchanged. In Huntsville, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
Officials say to plan ahead, leave a little early, and prepare for increased traffic at the other gates. If you normally take Gate 8, plan for a little bit longer of a commute. Our next two stories are about two very different animals. Residents in Decatur want their dog park back. And then we venture over to Athens and Elkmont to show you some surprise visitors, bears. What was once a tail-wagging triumph has turned into a sore spot for some Decatur residents after their beloved dog park was traded in for a new recreation center. Back in 2016, residents brought the idea of a dog park to the city. Between then and 2018, they worked to bring that vision to life. By May of 2019, the Decatur Dog Park officially opened, but only to be shut down in 2023 to make way for a new construction project. Now, one resident says they feel completely bamboozled. Our Ken McCoy has the story.
Anger and frustration over a space built for the people.
Our population can easily support two dog parks.
It was supposed to be a permanent addition for Decatur's pet-loving community.
We want our dog park back. We want the people's dog park back.
But when the city moved forward in 2023 with plans for a new recreation center, the original idea was to build around the existing dog park. Gilda Turner says that's not how things played out.
We were in shock. We first saw the plan in November of 2024. We had a community meeting, and there was several dog park people here, and we were very upset. And we immediately started asking for solutions and why they were going to destroy the large dog park.
A handful of residents gathered today to talk about possible solutions, but left feeling they had more questions than answers.
People already know where they need to go. I'm not understanding why that's an issue.
We were very upset about it. And we have solutions, but it seems like we can't get anybody's attention.
Now, it's not that the city isn't being proactive about building a dog park. Here at Wolverine Park, a project is currently underway to get a dog park built. However, weather has been a hindrance. But even with this new space, some residents say there's still the matter of convenience.
This area is very central to Decatur, and having to drive all the way to Point Mallard is a distance. And traffic. And if there was a dog park over there with all that traffic coming in and out, it was going to be difficult.
Turner says even with the new rec center, there's still room to bring the dog park back.
It can all fit in if somebody would just sit down and use some logic.
A spokesperson for the city says they remain committed to finding a solution that works for residents. In Decatur, Kim McCoy, FOX54 News.
And a timetable for the new dog park at Wolverine Park has not been given. The recreation center, though, is slated to open next year. What else is happening around the valley? We've got to look at Summer Scholars in Madison, a community health fair in Huntsville's District 1, and the aftermath of flash flooding in Harvest. The last bell for many students rang in May, but for a few, that sound marked the start of an enriching, challenging summer experience. Madison City Schools is running its Summer Learning Showcase across 5 campuses, where close to 500 students take part in programs that help build their skill set for the upcoming school year. Our Kim McCoy shows us how summer learning is shaping a stronger start to the school year ahead. Things hanging up too. They made some.
That's the sound of summer fun. But in Madison City schools, it's also the sound of growth. Students are building skills and picking up new ones through a variety of summer programs. Nearly 10 enrichment programs were on display for school board members during this year's summer showcase.
There's several areas. You have your numeracy and your literacy camps that you have that meet requirements of the state for reading and math. But you also have our special education camp for our students, our EL camp for our English language learners, just traditional summer school where students may need to make up a class or get ahead. All of these are going on simultaneously.
With the growing student body, meeting the needs of all types of learners has become a top priority. Superintendent Dr. Ed Nichols says diversity in the district makes these programs even more essential.
There's always learning loss in the summer. And that loss can be more if a student is still acquiring language. You know, we have 59 different languages in the Madison City schools from over 50 countries. And so these students are learning English, and some have only been here for a year. And so this camp helps to keep them moving forward so that they're ready for the next school year.
But these camps don't run on curriculum alone.
I just can't say enough about our teachers and our support staff and our district staff that put together our summer programs. They are tremendous. Certainly appreciate our board. It's financially something that we have to put in place. And we also have sponsors. We certainly appreciate those community groups that step up and help us.
In Madison, Kim McCoy, Fox 54 News.
Looks like they're having a lot of fun. Well, returning student enrollment is open until July 17th. The link is on our website, fox54.com.
Some residents in Northwest Huntsville spending their Saturday learning about health resources available today at the first ever District 1 Community Fair. This inaugural event offered residents an insight to some mental and physical health assets locally available. The event centered on bringing a healthier community to the area. Huntsville officials say it's important for people to know what's easily accessible to them.
As we get older, we got to get out, we got to start moving around, get the blood pumping, get the heart rate up. And it's just so important for us to understand the importance of health.
It's very important that the community knows that these resources are available so that they can kind of utilize them and plan their health around the resources that are offered in this community and know where to go and get those resources.
We just get more informed about how to take care of ourselves, how to be healthy. You know, getting old doesn't have to be bad because you can grow old gracefully while you're being healthy.
City leaders are hoping to put this event on for years to come.
Several spots in the Harvest community reeling after a sudden flash flood of stormwater covered roadways, filled parking lots, and made its way over thresholds into people's homes. That damage apparent today in the aftermath. The video you're seeing on your screen, footage from residents living at the Sherman Oaks apartment complex in Harvest. The water came in under the door and soaked everything on the floor. You could see it there, including all the furniture. One resident says their dog was swimming in the flood water. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo shows us the damage.
A sudden downpour of rain like the one we had yesterday doesn't look like it could do too much, but concentrated, it can wreak havoc.
That's what happened yesterday in Harvest. Sudden rain in a block drainage ditch brought the water to never-before-seen levels, flooding several units at the Sherman Oaks apartment complex. Residents scrambling to salvage everything they could off the floor as the waters came pouring in, some of them telling me that everything felt like it happened within a span of 5 minutes.
There was like a 5-minute span from when it went to, okay, this is getting bad, to, okay, this is happening, we're losing our home. 5-minute difference.
Her husband, TJ, noticed when the floodwaters first started to rise. He took action, driving his truck back and forth through the water to help people save their pets and belongings.
I started noticing the water level get closer and closer to the door frame. I walked outside and I got a short video of what it was looking like out here, and I was already ankle deep. And I walked down the parking lot a little bit and started seeing water was actually rushing over. And that's when I sounded the alarm to everybody I could to probably go ahead and start getting out.
Another longtime resident, Amori Lang, describes her situation, saying she's never had problems with flooding before. Now she's worried about a repeat incident.
I go look into the kitchen and I look out the back door and I see water is coming from back there. I go back to the front, I'm checking the front, then I go in my room and then water is starting to come out of my closet. And then after that, it kind of progressed quickly. Like the water was it was rising and pooling, and at this point it wasn't even raining anymore. We've had tornadoes and we've had storms, and it has never flooded like this before. And so now my only concern is if it rains again this week, is this going to happen again?
Residents here wondering today what comes next. Some of them are on the phone with their insurance companies, and others digging through the remains to salvage what they can. In Harvest, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
Wow, some of those residents now looking for a place to stay while they sort through the mess. Out of the 6 housing units at Sherman Oaks, at least 4 of them flooded last night. And from Fox 54 Sports, this week we found out who will be representing the Alabama A&M Bulldogs at SWAC Media Days in just a couple of weeks.
Hey everyone, we're very close to talking season for the 2025 college football season, and a great indicator of that are media days, especially in the SEC and the SWAC. 12 SWAC coaches will be on hand to talk about their upcoming season in a few weeks. And for the first time ever, Alabama A&M will be represented by head coach Sam Shade. The first-year coach will be joined by quarterback Cornelius Brown IV and linebacker Demetrius Biambi. Now, Brown was named the starting signal caller at the beginning of last season. He ended up throwing for over 1,600 yards and 12 touchdowns. Biambi was 4th on the team in tackles with 42. Coach Sam Shade has been putting a lot of work in during the offseason, but he also feels that his squad is still a work in progress.
We've still got a long way to go, but one thing I will say, our guys are taking everything that we're teaching, they're trusting us, they're trying to be disciplined, not just on the field, but off the field. So they're doing the things that we've asked them to do, and time will tell how everything works out during the season.
Let's wrap up this week with some great advice from Fox 54 Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman about how to keep cool while driving in hot weather.
If we're being honest, one of the biggest problems with summer is that it gets hot in the car really, really fast. So you get in the car and you just think to yourself, what if I just crank the AC? What if I just sit here for a little bit and let my car cool down? Believe it or not, that's actually not what you're supposed to do. The AC is going to work far better when you're driving. When you're driving, the engine works faster, therefore the AC compressor works faster, and therefore your car cools down faster.
Start driving. Turn on the air conditioner and open all the windows for about 10 to 20 seconds. Next, crank the fan, and once that cold air starts flowing through the vents, you'll want to roll up your front windows, but keep the rear windows cracked open for another 10 to 20 seconds to pull the cold air to the back of the car.
Now let's talk about the buttons. There's a lot of buttons in your car, or maybe a few buttons in your car. Maybe depends on how old your car is. But in general, there's going to be an AC button, and there's going to be a recirculate button. What's the difference?
AC pulls hot air from the outside and cools it through the air compressor, and then spits it out to you. The recirculation button takes the already cool air and does the same thing, but it doesn't work as hard and it cools faster.
So you're sitting at home right now and you're watching this and you're thinking, my car doesn't have the magic circulation button. Well, you're in luck. It means your car does it automatically.
Some excellent tips there from Jordan. Thank you for watching Fox 54's Week in Review. Count on Fox 54 Plus to bring you more great programming with in-depth local specials, locked on sports, true crime, cooking shows, wellness experts, and continuing weather coverage. For everyone at Fox 54 News, I'm Kenesha Dees. Have a fun and safe weekend.